welcome. You okay? You gonna be okay?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
I'm
Welcome
good.
to the TCAT 10-minute take. It is I, your host, Sheree Stewart, and with me as always is my co-host, Don Legend Chambers. This is the 10-minute version of our normal TCAT podcast where we talk about one movie and one movie only. And today we are talking about the Avengers. This is opening weekend still, so it's going to be a spoiler-free thing.
Spoiler-free.
But before we get into it, make sure you click that subscribe and you click that bell so you can get all the notifications when we drop a new 10-minute take. And done as always, we will get started. Go.
I'm processing, and it's working my soul. You understand? What I just witnessed, what I saw, it was gloriousness. That's not even a word, but I felt right to say that. Listen, look. Me saying anything is almost irrelevant because if you are an MCU fan, if you've put 11 years into going and seeing each one of them, whether they were incredible or mediocre, but you said I'm sticking with them, and you watch that this universe become kind of real, and you invested in these characters, and some of them you just can't see with anybody else. If you put all that in there and you saw Infinity War, then seeing this, is without question, and I'm guaranteeing it's going to be probably one of the greatest things you'll ever, and the most satisfying you'll ever see. I mean, when I tell you there is like an emotional release by the end of this, that I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, it feels, honestly, if Marvel decided to never do another Marvel movie, I would not be angry if they just simply closed the book and left everything right here. I would not be angry. I would not be perturbed. I would not feel cheated. I would buy that 21 movie box set, however much collector's set when it comes out, and I would simply enjoy knowing that is cinema history. I mean, it still is cinema history, but if that was it, I wouldn't be mad. Listen, girl, let me tell you something. I don't really look. Listen, I'll go by R rating. Go see this. Any day you can, spend as much money as it takes. I don't care if tickets are $25 a piece. I don't care if the only seating you have is 3D, 4D rumble seats where they spray water at you. I don't care. You go and you see this. If I was to give it a rating of 1 out of 10, this movie is a 37. It doesn't matter. You go and you see this because I guarantee you are going to come out of this like, wow, just wow. And it just reinforces what, thank God, Marvel did, in that from the very beginning, they had a plan, they had it, they stuck with it. And I mean, and just like a good book, it had a beginning, middle, and end. And this movie is just, I'm done. I'm done. I don't need to talk anymore.
All right. No, you're good.
You take it from here. You have at it.
I'm so hard pressed to talk about movies in terms of good and bad, because I don't really think of them like that. This movie was, so I'll tell you, like, I can't say this is a good movie, this is a bad movie, because movies have merit. For me, movies have merits for different reasons. Like, I can't ever really say this is good and this is bad. Like, I say this movie is extremely satisfying if you are a Marvel fan.
Yes.
If you have been on the journey this entire time, if you've even been on part of the journey, like in and out, this movie is very satisfying. It's conclusive. It has like really good story arcs for damn near 32 characters. I will say that I still am a little tweaked that Scarlett Johansson's character Black Widow got a little bit of the shaft in general. I feel like she's always gotten the shaft in all of her movies. Like, she's never really been a super defined character for me. It's just been defined by her bad wig and whatever the other characters needed her to be at the time. So it's like, are you a super spy? Are you a soldier? Are you sad because you're a monster because you can't have kids, which was the worst? Like, I've always felt like her character was never really as fully developed as the other, as Iron Man and as Thor, and even as the Hulk, with only one, with Ruffalo stepping in with no outside movies.
Right.
But because her and Hawkeye and the Hulk, for all intents and purposes, don't have outside movies, even though with the Hulk they use the different ones that we had, like they included those as part of his backstory. I felt like Hawkeye had a really finally satisfying turn of character and something to do with his life. like he's always just been very superfluous to me, and to everyone, I'm sure, but he finally felt like a real person. And I just wish that we could have gotten, and maybe we will with her standalone movie, if that's ever really still going to happen. I hear it is. Yeah. I know it's on the slate. That's just always been a little bit disappointing for me. But other than that, it was extremely solid. Like, there's emotional moments when you needed emotional moments. There's action when you needed action. But it's not like, it's crazy because I just watched Bumblebee the other day, and I also watched Game of Thrones last night. And when you have huge amounts of action, it can be overwhelming at times, especially when you watch all these CGI fight sequences and there's like so much going on and swirling and whirling. But this movie was really good at keeping it all together, like not making it just be a battle that you kind of can't keep up what's happening. Right. It was more of a caper situation, which was nice. I really appreciated that. There, obviously, when you deal with subject matter that like that, there's going to be plot holes when you go back and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. But it doesn't matter because, it's just a movie and you go with it. Of course, It doesn't make sense. But it was so solid, and it was so, I could see when this movie hits Netflix, I'm probably going to watch it like 5 or 6 times. Like, I'm just gonna, I've watched a few of the movies, like the ones that are my favorite. I've watched them over and over again. I'll put them on when I'm doing work. I'll put them on when I'm like vacuuming. Like, this is gonna be one of those movies where I'll watch the 2 Avengers movies, or like the 2 like Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame, when they're together, probably on the Marvel Disney network. Yes. Whatever that's going to be.
This is the only reason I'm going to subscribe to that network.
So if you are not a super duper Marvel fan, or if you haven't really seen any of the other movies, if you watch the first Avengers movie, and you watch probably Civil War, and you watch the second Avengers movie. So, like, the first Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, Civil War, and then this, you'll probably be okay. You'll probably be okay. You might want to throw in that first Guardians of the Galaxy, not the second one, the first one.
Sure, just so you know really who.
Just so you have a little bit more of Thanos side of things, and I think you'll be okay. So if you had to watch like 4 movies to catch up, if you don't have time to watch 21 movies, the first Avengers is fine. Age of Ultron, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then this, and then you should be good.
Yeah.
And if you miss out on Guardians of the Galaxy, I think you'll probably still, and Age of Ultron, you'll probably, if you have to only watch the first Avengers movie, and Civil War and this. I think those three, you'll probably be okay. It definitely though is a build up. It's a cap on, a decade. So it's not going to be one of those movies that you can just go into cold and expect to know everything that's going on. It's just not built for that. It was certainly a fan service film.
And you won't get the...
Right, you won't get the emotional connections. Like, you won't feel it as deeply when characters feel things like, the relationships between, Peter Parker and Tony Stark is a strong relationship that we get from Spider-Man Homecoming. If you don't already have that kind of backstory, you're just left to assume. The acting, though, is very strong. Like, it's not like, the actors don't pull it out and they leave it on the table with the other movies. They're not phoning it in. Like, the acting is very strong for this type of blockbuster popcorn movie that people tend to look down on. It's so popular to be like, I've never seen any of the Avengers and I've never seen any Game of Thrones. Well, you know what? You're missing out because you're lame and you don't like fun. And so that's not my problem. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you go ahead and be cool and be a stick in the mud if you want to. That's fine with me. I would say go see it. I don't know if I'd pay $25 to go see it. I saw, but I mean, I will go to great lengths. I did see it at 8:30 in the morning because every show was sold out. And even the 8:30 in the morning show was sold out, and I had to sit between two families that had a bunch of kids getting up and down, and I was squished in between these two different families in one seat that was left at this 8:30 in the morning show.
You gotta do it, girl.
That was the only seat that was left in the entire weekend.
Yes. Yes. I went and saw it in an IMAX theater that has the 30-foot screen.
Oh wow, yeah.
And all the seats were taken. Even
the one in the front?
All gone.
Wow.
All gone.
That's intense.
Listen, I can't, because, just like you're saying, when you mentioned earlier about, you probably should watch some other movies coming into this, because when you've watched the others, the part that if you came in cold that just wouldn't jump at you is that feeling of how much you've invested in these characters, how at this point the casting has been, I have to say, perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone. You can't see anybody else playing these characters. You just can't. And so this movie is going to leave you with a whole bunch of feels and stuff at the end, because it so feels like an ending.
It does feel like an ending. And there is no end. Okay, so logistics. Since our time is technically up, we will talk about it on the TCAT podcast with full spoilers next week, but we'll give you another week to watch this movie. But if you're going to go see it, here's the skinny. It's long. It's 3 hours and 1 minute long. So go to the bathroom before the movie starts. Go before the movie starts. Before the credits, the previews, whatever.
Yes.
If you have to go, I was looking online for best times to go, just in case. There is a scene about 1 hour in where Tony Stark is having a conversation with Pepper Potts on a couch. You can pop out of there real quick during that scene. It's not that deep. Just and there was a little bit of funny shenanigans in the next scene that if I ran back just in time. If I had missed that, I would have been okay. It was just a little mood breaker.
Right.
Because the scene before that with if you're super heavy into the Pepper Potts Tony Stark relationship and want to hear them talk about their feelings and stuff, then okay. But that, I feel that was 1 hour in, and that was a perfect time to go to the bathroom. After that, you're done. So I know everybody wants to see this movie with snacks and popcorn and stuff. I wouldn't recommend it because you don't want to have to get up and leave. It is 3 hours long. So
listen, if you know you got a strong bladder,
right? If you have the constitution of a camel,
you are good.
You're good.
Because let me tell you, for me, there's not a second I was going to get up. I don't care.
I looked online. There were 3 best places that you could go to the bathroom, but they were all in the first half. like the first
That's true.
hour.
Yes.
Like after that first hour, the next 2 hours are like, you can't get up.
You can't blink. Don't close your eyes too long. Just be looking. Ooh,
and then there's no end credit sequence. There's no cutscenes at the end, so you don't have to worry about that. The end credits, though, are very satisfying. They are a very elaborate
so cool.
thank you and homage to all of the great actors that have been in the Marvel movies over the years. Awesome. But there is no so if you really have to go to the bathroom, there's no there's no end credit sequence that you have to wait for.
We had people were clapping in that homage to the main those main six. We're definitely clapping. I thought it was awesome. The Stan Lee cameo was awesome. People loved that as well. Now the only thing though, at the very end of the credits, the very end, there's no scene, but there's a sound.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to reveal what it is. That's going to save for the spoiler podcast. But if you know what the sound is, I won't say it gives you an indication of what's next, but it's sort of, I'm just going to say this. It gives people hope.
Right. But we know that there's another, like the next phase is happening. Like if you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. You'll catch that online. It's not that crucial. It's not meta crucial. It's not.
It's not. But I'm just saying.
It's cool though if you want to stay and hang out. It's cool.
If you want to hang out, they did throw a little something there.
It's not a little something.
You hear for like 3 seconds, and you're like, if you recognize it from what you've seen in the movie, you're like, oh, okay. Right. And then you'll sort of, obviously you got to wait and see what the next phase, what happens there.
I definitely had some really good setups for things to come and, what the next set of movies is going to look like. What the next group of characters is going to look like. Everybody had satisfying story arc conclusions and where they're going to go next and how they've grown and changed. And it was very, very complete, I'll say. Like I felt like I watched that movie and I was like, okay, like it felt like when you put together a puzzle and the last piece fits perfectly and it's like, that sense of like relief and nostalgia and even a little melancholy because now it's done and you'll never be able to put that puzzle back together again.
I know.
For the first time. So it's definitely worth going to go see before the spoilers start rolling in next week. Y'all get a week. That's it. Sorry. That's it. Historical opening weekend. It was just like mind-boggling. We'll talk about the numbers. We'll talk about all that stuff when we get into the show. Sometime next week. So that's all we're going to say. Go see it as soon as you can before people start talking about it and ruins it for you. But
I got to go see it again now.
I probably will go see it again because I went to that 8:30 show. I had to go and I was squoze in between two families. I had to go see it by myself. So I'll probably go see it, with the crew. Yeah. When we go see it again, next week sometime. So yeah.
I'm still processing. It's still on my spirit, that movie. It's just
all right. We got to get out of here though. So tell them where they can find us.
But you can find us tcadnetwork.com. That's where we got all the links to the 10-minute takes, to our podcast, to Good Morning Antioch, the reading. Put some writing up there, our bios. Everything to hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, to our email. We got a phone number, you can leave messages. All that is right there in one convenient spot, tcadnetwork.com. Don't forget, while you're here on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell for more notifications.
Leave a comment.
Read the comments. Let us know what you want to see. And we listen to our subscribers. And whatever you want us to see, we'll get out there and see it as soon as possible and give you our take on it. So please do that. Let us know what you like. But whatever you do, man, go see this movie. Whew, girl, it's working me.
You need to go take a nap now.
I need to nap now. I'm the emotions coming back from when I was sitting there. I'm like, woof, my heart can't take no more.
All right.
There.
Bye.
Bye.